Hey guys, this is a market update. It's definitely time to pay attention because look at Bitcoin seasonality and the period that we're going into. This is Bitcoin's price performance on a monthly basis over its 16-year history. The summer is usually super quiet. June, August, September, really poor months for returns. And then you come into October and November, massive outperformers in terms of where the price moves. That's good news. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen to the price on a weekly or monthly basis, but I think conditions are really good. The Fed's cutting interest rates. They're focused on unemployment. That's the code that they tell us, okay, we're going to be more dovish. That's good for risk assets. Oh, but it's inflationary. Yes, this is how it works. They cut interest rates. They create inflation on purpose. That's the whole point. And then when it gets way out of control and everyone starts getting annoyed again, they bring it down. They want to create inflation, which is why they're cutting interest rates. Don't worry about inflation. If they're not worried about it, I'm not worried about it. If it's 3, 4, 5, 6%, doesn't matter. If they're not worried, I'm not worried. They're cutting interest rates. The Treasury wants this as well. They want to refinance. They want to bring low-end interest rates down. That means they can issue more debt there, and they can even carry out Treasury buybacks, which, in my opinion, is a form of yield curve control. That's where they issue on the short end at low interest rates. They take that cash, they buy back their own bonds on the long end to try and bring the long end rates down as well. It's very small scale right now. It's not like huge yield curve control, but that's basically what they're trying to do, right? They're buying back their own treasury on the long end. They want to issue debt on the short end at lower rates. And the stablecoin thing is part of that, right? They want a lot of demand on the low end. They want to get interest rates down on the low end. This is manipulation of the currency. This is why we're in Bitcoin. But look, Bitcoin is hardly weak, right? I've been trying to buy some in this white box. I have got a few bids off really at like the absolute top of this box right here. So I've got a couple of bids off. I'm still going long. I'm not going to start getting out until much higher where I think the price goes. But look, this bull market is hardly weak. I mean, look, we're what, 6%, 7% off an all-time high? I just wish it would draw down more. I wish it would come into this box. I've still got bids here, but in previous bull markets, 20, 25% drawdowns, totally normal. Now you're getting these small drawdowns. You can't really get in, right? It's tight. So look, it's hardly weak price action, right? But we're going into a good seasonal period. Whether we perform, I don't know. But I think the conditions are pretty good. If you trade, check out Blowfin. The link in the description will get you a deposit bonus. Just send over some USDT. They'll give you a great deposit bonus to trade with. They've also got VIP if you're a new user as well. So they'll give you like a 1 month VIP with lower trading fees and some other bonuses as well. I'll leave the link below in the description. The Bitcoin exchange rate versus dollars is still ranging higher. Right? In fact, if anyone would just look at this chart and actually not know what the asset was, you just see this thing, higher lows, ascending wedge pattern here in a bull market. Right, you're still getting higher lows in this ascending wedge. We haven't even broken out of this wedge yet. This is on the weekly chart. If you look at this chart, you would just say, well, this is going to go higher, right? It just feels like that way. Now, we don't know, right? But the Fed are cutting interest rates. There hasn't been a financial crash, right? That's not why they're cutting interest rates. They're just offside. They need to come lower. The Treasury can release some liquidity when they come lower. That's a decent position to be in. There's risks when you're in assets, right? But if you look on balance, we're in a pretty decent position, and it's not euphoric. We're not overly confident. We're not at 180K, gone up here and everyone's saying it's going to go higher. It's a decent place to be. Now, gold as a share of reserves versus USTs. JP Morgan, I think it was, it said everything is credit except for gold. Well, in the digital age, everything is credit except for Bitcoin. Stablecoins are credit, and they're going to proliferate and they're going to grow, and they're backed by digital capital this time, not by gold. But look, these central banks, they're in a different era. Bitcoin is way too small for them, but they don't want USTs anymore, right? The demand for USTs is waning in comparison to gold, which is fine for them, but we all know that Bitcoin is far superior. Now, what's going to happen in the digital age, just like what happened in the previous era, is that you have an asset and then you have the paper. Everything is credit except for gold. Stablecoins are credit and Bitcoin is the asset in the digital era. This is what the current US admin has figured out. And they're going to proliferate dollars. Dollars are not going anywhere. They're going to get stronger. They're going to get more abundant because debt cannot be paid off. It has to be more and more and more until the whole thing collapses at some point. Maybe that will be in the future, but it won't be happening now because they have figured out that the free market has created this mechanism to distribute dollars to more people. That means, and this is their plan, they want to create even more. The government will never not create paper, right? Yep, they're going to create more and more and more until obviously the confidence goes in that paper because it is just a confidence game. It's a confidence trick, right? It's a Ponzi scheme. It's debt, it's paper. It's not anything real. But they're going to print and print and print until the Ponzi scheme collapses, and they're going to proliferate it through stablecoin networks, smart contract chains. they want to find more demand for their paper, and that's going to flow into the asset. And it's a game as old as time, and it happened with actual paper and gold, physical paper and gold in the previous era, and now it's happening in the digital era with stablecoins and Bitcoin. And don't be holding the wrong thing. You don't want to be holding the paper. Everything is credit except for Bitcoin. Don't be holding the stablecoins or any more than you need to pay for your current liabilities. I know it's difficult because these assets are volatile and you have fixed current liabilities, right? I get that. You got rent or mortgage or whatever to pay. That's down to personal, financial management. But it's so obvious, right, that the paper is going to proliferate even more with stablecoins, more demand for stablecoins, more issuance on the short end. And that's going to create more dollars in the digital era, which means the credit is backed upon the digital asset, which is Bitcoin. And as we can see here, this is a 200-week moving average in white. Every time the 200-week moving average crosses the previous all-time high price, it seems to peak out the bull market. You can see that one happened once here, happened twice. 2 data points. We don't know, right? But there may be some time left. If the 200-week moving average crosses, see what the price is. If the price is 180, 200, hey, the red box is where I'm letting go my trades anyway. That's been my plan all along, and I'm still waiting for it. The reason why I say that is because I don't know what's going to happen to the price, right, on any given week or month or anything else. But for me, that doesn't matter. I've got my spot DCAs. I've got my spot Bitcoin, right? I'm just going to keep buying that. I think another 10 years of buying that, right? You have to just work, earn as much money as you can, buy the assets. But for trades, the only thing I'm worried about is not the price or where it will get to. It's just my liquidation. If you're using a bit of leverage in trades, is can you withstand a X amount drawdown, right? If you're using 2x leverage, a 50% drawdown from your cost basis, right? And so if it's 3x leverage, a 33% drawdown, whatever that is. But if the price is near the trend rate, I'm not worried about big drawdowns. If the price is up here, then you have to be worried about big drawdowns, starting to get out of your trades. So that red box is where I'm going to let go. If we don't get into that red box, why would I let go my trades? We can come back down. I can dollar cost average. I can just, keep the trade going. For me, I just want to get out of the trade when the price is overdone in relation to trend. And as long as my cost basis allows for that, then I can just keep going into the trades, right? So I'm not predicting the price. I think that's silly. You can't do that. All you have to predict is what you can control, which is how much leverage you're in those trades and your cost basis, and if you get wiped out. The whole point of a trade is just to be in the trade and wait and wait. Bitcoin usually gets a bit overdone in relation to its trend. That's where you can let some go. If it happens next month or in 6 months' time, I'm ready, right? And I don't need to make the decision until it's made for me. I also saw that Vanguard are now going to allow Bitcoin trading in their investment accounts. Under the previous CEO, they said absolutely no way. They're never going to offer Bitcoin. He basically didn't believe in it. Yeah, thought it was a scam probably. They booted him out and got a new CEO. That's a very expensive mistake on his part. You can't afford to be ideological about this. BlackRock's best performing ETF in terms of fees or one-off is the Bitcoin ETF. Hundreds of millions of dollars into that business. As a CEO, that's a big mistake to say that you're not going to tap into that. So he's out, new guy's in. Look, the market wants what it wants, and Bitcoin is what the market wants because it's perfect as a store of value. That's it. And so NASDAQ, gold, Bitcoin still outperforms. Everyone's saying that gold's having a good year. Whatever, man. Bitcoin can move 20, 30, 40% in a 6-week period, completely destroy everything else. It has the outperformance. We can see that over time. Nothing's even close. Dollar cost average Bitcoin. You can see over the last 12 months, we haven't moved a lot, right? Gold has moved up, as you can see here. If you value Bitcoin in gold, you can see that we haven't even broken out here. I would suggest, if we look at the longer term chart of Bitcoin and gold, that Bitcoin has more to go in terms of its price appreciation versus gold. So we're at all-time highs versus dollars, but like I said previously, that's the red herring. You've got to value Bitcoin in other assets, in gold, in NASDAQ, and everything else. We're hardly even started. If this is a real bull market, we go higher in gold terms, and that's another little indicator that when you do get that breakout versus gold, potentially you want to let some trades go as well, because these breakouts, they happen, they're huge, and then you just come and retract for a little bit. But if we're not breaking out, people are a little bit cautious. We're not overly done. We're not overly euphoric. We haven't broken out versus gold. We haven't reached the top of the range in terms of the exchange rate versus dollars. I don't know. I think I want to stay in my trades, right? So if you trade, check out Blowfin. You can get really good deposit bonus there. Just send over some USDT and you get VIP for a month as well. You can check out Bybit as well if you want to trade on there with a big deposit bonus. Links in description for all of that. I'm James, this is MoneyZG. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.